What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to my YouTube channel, Let's Talk Tottenham. Today, I wanted to discuss some of my post-match thoughts about the game against Manchester United that ended in a 1-1 draw, and also talk about some of the things that I saw and noticed and that were surprising. Jose Mourinho was asked what he was happy and unhappy about, and so I thought I'd give some of my happies and unhappies as well. So I didn't get to watch the game live because I was officiating my brother's wedding. We had an awesome day. It was a beautiful day for a wedding, and I'm so happy for the two of them. But I did get to watch the game later in the evening. Took some notes about some things, and the first thing that blew my mind is that Toby was not in the starting lineup. Just to take a look at this, to see him on the bench was surprising. So I had a similar formation, and my initial thoughts for the starting 11 would have been Lamela on the bench. I had Ndombele playing where Lamela was. I had Dyer where Winks was, and Toby where Dyer was. So this was surprising. I don't know if there was a reason for this, if there's an issue that's going on, or maybe, I mean, Dyer did play really well, so I don't want to take anything away from Dyer. I thought the penalty was a little bit soft, and we can talk about that later. But I felt like, man, this is Toby. And in terms of like a counter-attacking style, which is what we played, Toby pings those long balls. So this was surprising right out of the gates. And I felt like, he's played 27 out of the last 29 games. So this was a real break in the action. The other thing I just want to mention is I am not a fan of the fake fan noise. I just don't think it's necessary. And for the next few games, if I can, I'm going to try to listen to no extra fan noise with it. It didn't do anything for me. I just felt like they were just running a fan in the background. So I didn't need any of that. Now, the first 10 minutes of the game looked pretty isolated up top. Harry felt like he really didn't get a lot of service. Lamela did Lamela things, which I love. And I felt like we looked more like a Mourinho side than a Spurs side. We laid off the ball. We didn't pressure too much up top. Let the game come to us, and there just wasn't very much to see. The counter attack was obvious, but I don't think we have the pace. And when you don't have Toby in there, like, we don't have those long balls that are so accurate that made it very threatening. There was a moment where Ben Davies had a hilarious, like, American football tackle in the 20th minute. And Hugo made a couple good saves in the first half, especially that reflex save on Rashford in the 22nd minute. But I wanted to take a look at something else too. Something that is kind of frustrating to see, but also maybe understandable. So during the game, and we know this about Sissoko, even when Trippier was on our team, he would drop back into this kind of a right back position so that Trippier could go forward. But I felt like he's back there so often, he's not able to do what he does best, which is help shuttle the ball from, the defensive midfield to the offensive midfield. And here's just a snapshot of what happened. You can see you've got Davinson Sanchez right here telling Aurier to get out wide. You've got Sissoko so deep. And obviously Winks was deep too. So I know that was part of the plan, but it was just, I don't see how that's going to be helpful going forward. We're so dependent on that defensive midfield pressure coming back and covering, but it just doesn't seem to help when we want to go forward. Now we have to talk about this Bergwijn goal. What an awesome strike. Just hits it straight at the keeper, but the keeper can't handle it. Goes right into the back of the net. It was wonderful. And I love this guy more and more. But a couple things to notice in the build-up to that play. So first of all, Harry Kane made the turnover happen. And then we went all the way back to Lloris. Lloris kicks the long ball forward. It was actually headed by Shaw. And Aurier put enough pressure on that the ball comes back forward to Bergwijn, who makes a quick turn. And he really turns Maguire outside in and puts this beautifully hard shot on goal, and it goes in. But I have more to say about Bergwijn, but I felt like this was our best chance, and thank goodness we took advantage of it. Bergwijn was really our main threat throughout the whole game. And I'll talk a little bit more about what I hope to see from him in the future. But while Lamela was doing what he does best, I don't think what he does best is what we needed for as long as he was on the pitch. I felt like Lamela and others tried to get the ball to Sonny, but just never happened. It was always either in front of him or behind him, or United were right on top of him to poke the ball away. In the second half, it felt like much like the first half, where for the first maybe 20 minutes or so, nothing really happened. And then Pogba came on and gave United this shot in the arm. And Lloris made a great save on Martial. And Mourinho countered with Jedson and Lo Celso, but that was it. There were no other subs to be made. United brought on 2 more subs, and then tired legs led to a penalty. I thought the penalty was a little soft. To be honest, I felt like, sure, you could call a penalty, but it was clear that it was almost like, to keep using these basketball analogies, it was like the Reggie Miller leg kick. Like he kind of kicks his leg out into Dyer. And Dyer did have his arm on him or hand on him, but I just felt like, I mean, this is Paul Pogba. This is not some small player. He's a big, strong dude. And I felt like he went down pretty easy, kind of kicked his leg out so it looked like he was tripped. And I can see why that was called, but I felt like it was really soft. It's just a bummer to lose points, I should say, to a PK like that. And Mourinho talked about this, and I saw this on Twitter in a couple different places, that United have had 18 PK opportunities or something like that. That is insane. And it makes you wonder, is that a thing? Is something happening? Are they looking for that? Why are they giving them so many penalties? Because it doesn't seem to be happening for other teams and things like that. Also felt like Harry and Sonny, when they took free kicks, they did their best Christian Eriksen impressions. And to be honest, I felt like Harry's was more on point, the way he just hit the wall about as hard as he could. And that 90th minute penalty was ridiculous. And why wasn't it a dive? I don't understand how that works. How the referee obviously thought it was a penalty, and again, he gave them another penalty for that. And and then it's clearly not. VAR says it's not. And why he's trying to simulate something in order to get a pen. And so it's disappointing to see that. As I was watching the game, I was kind of hoping like, hey, maybe without the fans, we'll see some better refereeing, because they won't have like thousands and thousands of people shouting in their faces. But no, it just looks like it's the same old stuff that we've been used to. Now, in Jose's post-match interview, one of the things that he had said was what he was happy about and what he was unhappy about. He said he liked the attitude, the organization and control, that they followed the plan, that they were solid, giving United what they don't like. But he said this about what he was unhappy with. He said, the way I was reading the game, I had no bench to react to it. Lucas was out, Dele was out, and that they couldn't really be dangerous with what they had on the bench to really make any adjustments to the game. And while I was watching the game, I guess I wasn't really thinking that way, but I was thinking, like, why aren't we making any subs? Like, why aren't we doing anything? They've replaced 5 players on the field. We've replaced 2. And you knew that there were going to be tired legs. This is the first game back in a while. And with some of those guys, they've had surgeries and things that they're coming back from. So I felt like it was disappointing to see him not make substitutions, but I guess from his perspective, he's like, why just put fresh legs on to just put them on if what they're bringing onto the field isn't going to be counteracting what United was doing? So I can understand it, but it was certainly frustrating. It's one of those things where I remember with Pochettino, I would get frustrated with how long he would wait to make a change. And maybe I was just feeling like that again. Like, dude, you're Mourinho. Like, make a change. We needed something kind of freshen up the team, especially in those last 15 and 20 minutes. And I don't want to say it cost us, but it definitely, you could see the energy that came on the field when United made their substitution. Now, just to show this is from the BBC, bbc.com. Just looking at those possession stats, that is hard to stomach. I understand it for a game like this maybe, but I also feel like this is not Spurs. This is Mourinho. And I still haven't really accepted Mourinho as our manager, just to be honest. I kind of feel like someone posted this, I don't know where it was, if it was Twitter or Facebook, that they said he's like a stepdad or something like that, that no matter how many times he takes me to the zoo, he's still not my dad. And I kind of have that feeling. I feel like we did get a point, and we almost got 3 points, but it is really hard to watch us play counterattack. I just don't think it's Spurs, and I don't think we even have a really good. We're not super pacey up front. We're not Liverpool or something like that, and yeah, our back line is struggling a little bit too. So yeah, hard to see those possession stats. Good to see though. Still got more corners. Our shots on target were not as good, but close to just as many shots. So that was good. And then looking at the table, it's just from the Premier League's website. As you come down here, I cannot believe Arsenal lost today. That just happened. And I was just, how did that even happen? Oh, it's so funny. It's just so funny. But anyway, for us, yeah, if we're going to get Champions League football, we're going to have to, somebody else is going to have to poop the bed. We are just not cutting it. And it's disappointing that that's what's happening, but it is. And then, our next game coming up on the 23rd on Tuesday, and it's against the Hammers. And so hopefully we'll be able to take 4 points from these 6 and not get too far away here from these teams that are fighting for European places. So let me just give you some of my overall thoughts. Here are my personal unhappies and happy. So a few things that were unhappy for me, I'll start there. So watching us play counterattacking football, I love Spurs, but we don't have the pace. We don't really have a center back pairing that, someone mentioned too that maybe Dyer and Sanchez, this was something that Pochettino had talked about being a good center back pair. But honestly, I feel like sometimes I feel like our center backs have like taken a stool softener because they've never been that solid. And it also, this counterattack leaves Harry Kane on an island of holdups around the center circle. He's never really up top. And it just shows, I made a video talking about an Athletic article asking if Harry Kane is really in decline. And they talked about his lack of service since we've lost Trippier, since we've lost Eriksen. And it's so clear. We just don't have a pass to get to Harry, whether it's from our left or right backs, whether it's even just Eriksen just carving a pass right up the middle. And we missed Dele yesterday too, and that might have helped. But the way that Mourinho is lining us up, I just don't see that happening. I see him using Harry as what people have called the battering ram or something like that. He's just he's doing what Llorente was doing. And Llorente, that's great for him, but I feel like Harry is a poacher. He's a finisher that needs to get in the 18, get the ball at his feet so he can get that ball in the back of the net. And he is not going to have the goal scoring until he gets that service. The other thing I would say is we spent a record amount of money Tanguy Ndombele. And that guy never even showed up. He was not on the field. I thought I thought Slim Tangy was going to be a thing. And so I was disappointed. I don't know if I'm disappointed because I hoped he was going to play, or because I'm feeling like, dude, if Jose doesn't trust him, what did we spend all that money on? So those are the things I'm frustrated about. But let's talk about what I'm happy about as well. So I don't even remember seeing Martial in the first half. I thought that was awesome. I thought we did really well to hold him up, and even Rashford for the first 45 minutes. But we ran out of legs. And, you know, trusting Jose to know about who he should and shouldn't bring on, considering those circumstances, I felt like we really did play pretty well, even with the tired legs. The other thing I wanted to say was Lamela just brings bite. You know, he fouls a lot. He rarely gets carded. I love that about him. He has this kind of wily presence that is all in all the time. And I know there's some, you know, conversations about maybe selling him and using that money to buy somebody else. And he's been injured for such a long time too that maybe we wouldn't miss him so much. But I do feel like he's part of that change that Pochettino brought, in terms of that we don't have that soft underbelly when he's out there. And I know Dyer can get feisty and Dele can get feisty, but there's something about Lamela. He just kind of like cruises in and clips people. And I'm not saying he's trying to injure anybody. I don't think he is at all. But he just reminds you that he's there. And it makes you think twice about how you attack the ball, how you make that pass or go in for the ball. And I think if we do end up selling him, we're going to be losing some of that. And Spurs really need a catalyst like him. You know, certainly they need leadership that's like demanding and commanding. That's why I said Harry needs to watch that The Last Dance, because he needs to have that dimension of his game of, come on, like, get up to my level or don't, like, get off the field. And we need that. And then the last thing I'm just so happy about, and I just want to say, is if you do not think Bergwijn has been a great signing, even just for this year, I think you're out of your mind. He got the goal. He set up another great opportunity for Sonny in the first half. And honestly, he felt like the only key to unlock United throughout the game. Like, every time the ball would come through him, I felt like something good might happen. So I was almost thinking, man, I would have loved to see Bergwijn. Maybe he doesn't do as well, more central, but I would have liked to see the ball come through him just a little bit more. And yeah, that's good news for us. I think he's a young guy. He's got a lot of opportunity and talent. And so hopefully we'll get to see him more and more. He'll start linking up with Harry more and more and get some wins. But personally, at the end of the day, I don't think we deserve to win. I think a draw was actually fair. But we are looking at Europa at best. And we're going to need somebody else to poop the bed so we can have Champions League. So those are my match thoughts. I would love to hear your thoughts. Please let me know in the comments. What do you agree with? What do you disagree with? And would you subscribe to my channel? I'm trying to get to 10 subscribers, and like this video if you liked it. And that way I can know if I should be doing more videos like this. But thanks so much for watching. And as ever, it was great talking with you.